There was a summoner with us in the place who had fire-red, cherubinish face, for he had carbuncles. His eyes were narrow. He was as hot and lecherous as a sparrow. Black scabby brows he had, and a thin beard. Children were afraid when he appeared. No quicksilver, lead ointments, tartar creams, boric, no, nor brimstone, so it seems, could make a slave that he had the power to bite, clean or cure his whelks of knobby white, or purge the pimples sitting on his cheeks. Garlic he loved, and onions too, and leeks. Drinking strong wine till all was hazy, then he would shout and jabber as if crazy. He wouldn't speak a word except in Latin when he was drunk, such tags as he was patent. He only had a few, say 2 or 3, that had mugged up out of the stone decree. No wonder, for he heard them every day, and, as you know, a man can teach a jay to call out Walter better than the Pope. But had you tried to test his wits and grope, for more you'd have found nothing in the bag than Cestio qui juris was his tag. He was a gentle varlet and a kind one, no better fellow if you went to find one. He would allow, just for a quart of wine, any good lad to keep a concubine a 12-month and dispense it altogether. Yet he could pluck a finch to leave no feather. And he found some rascal with a maid, he would instruct him not to be afraid. In such a case the archdeacon's curse, unless the rascal's soul were in his purse. For in his purse the punishment could be, "Purse is the good archdeacon's hell," said he, but well I know he lied on what he said. The curse should put a guilty man in dread. For curses kill as shriving brings salvation. We should beware of excommunication. Thus he pleased the man bring duress on any young fellow in the diocese. He knew their secrets, they did what he said. He wore a garland set upon his head, large and bullish. Large as the holly bush upon a stake, outside an alehouse, and he had a cake. A round one, which it was his joke to wield, as if it were intended for a shield. He and a gentle partner rode together. A bird from Charing Cross, of the same feather, just back from visiting the court of Rome. He loudly sang, "Come hither, love, come home." The summoner sang deep seconds to the song. No trumpet ever sounded half as so strong. This partner had yellow hair as wax, hanging down smoothly like a hank of flax. In driblets fell his socks, and behind his head, down to his shoulder, which they overspread. Thinly they fell like rat tails one by one. He wore no hood upon his head for fun. The hood inside his wallet had been stowed. He aimed at riding in the latest mode. But for a little cap his head was bare, and he had bulging eyeballs like a hare. He'd sewed a holy relic on his cap. His wallet lay before him on his lap, brimful of pardons come from Rome all hot. He had the same small voice a goat has got. His chin no beard had harbored, nor would harbor. Smoother than ever a chin was left by a barber. I judge he was a gelding or mare. As to his trade, from Berwick down to Ware, there was no partner of equal grace, for in his trunk he had a pillowcase, which he asserted Our Lady's veil. He said he had a goblet of the sail St. Peter had this time when he made bold to walk the waves till Jesu Christ took hold. He had a cross of metal set with stones, and in a glass a rubble of pig's bones. And with these relics, any time he found some poor up country parson to astound, on one short day and money down, he drew more than the parson in a month or two, and by his flatteries and prevarication made monkeys of the priest and congregation. But still to do him justice first and last, in church he was a noble ecclesiast. How well he read a lesson or told a story, but best of all he sang an offertory, for well he knew that when a song was sung he'd have to preach and tune his honey tongue, and, well he could, win silver from the crowd. That's why he sang so merrily and loud. Now, I've told you shortly in a clause the rank, the array, the number, and the cause of our assembly in this company. In Southwark, at that high-class hostelry known as the Tavern, close behind the bell, and now the time has come for me to tell how we behaved that evening. I'll begin after we had alighted him, then I'll report our journey stage by stage at the remainder of our pilgrimage. But first I beg of you in courtesy not to condemn me as an unmannerly if I speak plainly and with no concealings, and give account of all their words and dealings, using their very phrases as they fell. For certainly, as you all know so well, for he who repeats a tale after a man is bound to say, as nearly as he can, each single word if he can remember it, however rudely spoken or unfit, or else the tale he tells will be untrue. The things invented and the phrases new he may not flinch, although they were his brother. And if he stays one word, he might say the other. And Christ himself spoke broad in Holy Writ. As you know, there's nothing there unfit, and Plato says, for those with power to read, the word should be as cousin to the deed. Further, I beg you to forgive it to me, if I neglect the order and degree, and what is due to rank and what I've planned. I'm short of wit, as you will understand. Our host gave us great welcome. Everyone was given a place, and a supper was begun. He served the finest victuals you could think. His wine was strong, and we were glad to drink. A very striking man our host withal, and fit to be a marshal in a hall. His eyes were bright, his girth a little wide. There is no finer Burgess in Cheapside. Bold in his speech, yet wise and full of tact. There was no manly attribute he lacked.